evening and welcome to our live Sisel web event. I hope you all have had a great weekend and a fantastic start to your week. Usually we kick off the evening by dipping into the background of the company and we share about a few of our best and favorite products, and we wrap it up with some information about our business opportunity at the end. But tonight, we're going to switch it up like we did last week. Last week we were fortunate to have a very special guest speaker on who shared her testimony about her years of battling Lyme disease and how the Sisel products completely gave her life back. It's a truly incredible story. So if you missed it, you can leave a comment in the little chat box on the GoToMeetings here with your email address, and I'll send you a link to the recording. Tonight, we are totally honored to have a very dear friend of mine join us to share about his journey with the Sisel products and how they not only saved his life, but how they've helped him build and create abundance for himself while helping others. So welcome on Anthony Baccini.
Hey, thanks, Becca. Yeah, my story with Sisel has definitely developed. It's definitely changed from where it was initially. My brother and my mom are on here too. You can see them. And we started doing this business together as a family. We also, both my sisters are in the business with us. And though my dad helps my mom, his main support is just making sure everyone takes their products on time. He is very regimented, and he makes sure that everyone is not going to miss anything. So we are definitely in a family business, and you'll hear about how Sisel is a family business for the Mowers, the owners of the company as well. And that's important to us. And for me, my Sisel journey started, I was a kid in college and just kind of wasn't really doing much because I was in college and I was focused on school, and I ran track over there. I was captain on the track team my junior year, so I had a lot of stuff that I had going on, and I didn't know whether or not I was going to be doing Sisel as a business full-time or as it was just going to be a part-time income. So after I graduated college, I found out that at the time, even though I had a degree and I had done all these things they said that you should do in college and you'll get a job, I couldn't find a job. I could barely find an interview. So Sisel began for me, or started at that point to be a full-time job, and I started working it full-time and have been lucky enough to move, to use my income through Sisel to be able to move to the beach in California with my brother, who is directly behind me right now. Yeah, and it's just been an amazing journey as far as that goes. And then it changed a lot of bit for me. We always had helped people with the products health-wise, and I knew what they could do. I took them at the time of my accident, which I'll talk about, for 4 years, pretty much consistently. We had been with the company for, I think, 6 years at the time, but I was in college, so I wasn't using everything super like I should. So I think it was about 4 years consistently where I had been taking everything. And then me and my brother, again, we were actually at the owner of the company's hunting cabin, and he let us go there. It was really awesome. He let us use all of his fun toys and his ATVs, and we had been using them all week fine. Fishtailing around. He's got a gravel driveway, so we're just having a blast. And all the time wearing the seatbelts and things like that. And when I was little too, I was always the advocate, seatbelt check. I wouldn't let my parents drive until everyone said they had their seatbelt on. So I was always big on that, still very big on that. But my family was just there for about, I think 3 or 4 days with nobody. And then we had some friends come up because they had been part of a challenge that we were doing with Sisel. So they came up, and I don't really remember, I vaguely remember saying something to Dominic, my brother. Hey brother, let's go take a quick ride on the ATV. Everyone's out on the balcony. It'll be a good picture if we can get a picture of everybody. And it was supposed to be, drive around the house, quick 20-second ride, and we were gonna take a picture of everybody and go back. But the 20-second ride turned into a 15-second ride, because when I tried to fishtail on the gravel this time, we didn't pull out of it the way that you're supposed to. And I had a pretty bad accident. I ended up having 8 major skull fractures, and it was kind of just a crazy situation. I still don't know exactly how to talk about it. It's crazy. Those are for those that are on the webinar portion. You can see some of the pictures now. So obviously the picture on the left there that was actually right the first day in the hospital. The little pictures that's the top of my head, where my nose would be the bottom of the screen there. So that break was actually where baby soft spot would be, and I'll talk about that in a second. Then the one next to it, those are both my temples that are broken. You can also see a large amount of swelling that happened outside of my head. And then that's 7 days later. That's me and my dad. And that's Tom Maurer Sr., the owner of the company. Accident happened at his hunting cabin. And then he was awesome and let us stay. This is in Utah, is where he lives. So we weren't near family. We weren't near home. So he actually let me and my family stay at his house. I did some physical therapy and stuff like that there. But for me, this story isn't of anything more than, I think, prevention and recovery. Obviously not preventing the accident from happening. That would have been nice. But for preventing it from being as bad as it could have been and probably should have been, or definitely should have been, we had initially we were at the regional hospital because we were at the hunting cabins, kind of secluded. Had the accident. I don't remember anything the day of or even the night before. I'm pretty blurry, and then up till 4 or 5 days, I don't really have. So it's difficult to talk about a little bit for that portion of it. But basically, flipped the thing. I kept trying to sit up. Dominic was, no, stay down. Eventually was able to, I wouldn't stop. He just eventually had to help me up and walk me over to the van. They drove me down to the regional hospital. I got out of the van by myself, walked over to the door, and they were probably like, oh, all right, he's probably okay. Maybe he has a really bad concussion. I was answering all types of health questions and things like that. They were asking Mom if I was allergic to anything. She was a little flustered, so she couldn't remember at the time, and I yelled from the other room, "Sulfa drugs." So I had like all my, everything was working the way it should have been, and then they took pictures of my head, and they were like, no, he can't be at a regional hospital. He needs to go to a real hospital. So I had a medical helicopter that took me 20-minute helicopter ride, but I think it was an hour and a half drive with mostly no service that everyone but my dad had to be in. He actually was able to come in the helicopter with me. And they give you on something when you go in a medical helicopter, they give something called the paralytic. And the paralytic is designed to literally paralyze you on purpose, short amount of time, so that you don't move. It's a very small space in the helicopter, and they don't want you moving around. I woke up, and the helicopter technician, and the registered nurse in the actual hospital said they never heard of that. Their whole careers, they never heard of anybody ever waking up from a paralytic. They had to give me a second one on the flight. That's a little bit relevant too. So I ended up getting to the hospital. We had a 2-hour surgery, I think, and meeting at the hospital was actually the vice president of worldwide sales, general manager of Sisel, Aaron Rennett, was there to meet me in case my dad couldn't fit on the helicopter. He did end up fitting on there, but basically what Aaron was there for was to sign you can do surgery on him if you need to papers. So the family has grown just from outside of my immediate family to our Sisel family. And that's all part of it too. And it's a huge, it's huge for us. So this story for me was like I said, prevention and all that, and recovery. But prevention isn't just Sisel, and I don't want to say anything crazy that Sisel's the only reason that I'm here, but it's definitely a big part of it. But before this accident, and still, I pretty much drink water exclusively. I'm not crazy about it. I'll have drinks sometimes and whatever, but it's pretty much exclusively water. I try to eat non-GMO, organic when I can. I exercise in 5-6 days a week at the time of the accident. And like I said, I had been on those supplements for 4 years. And then I also, with my family, we just try to be positive. And that, I think, was a huge part of everything as well. So I ended up being in the hospital, and the whole time, you see me as like this, but 2 days after that picture, I actually had my first physical therapy session. It didn't amount to too much. They basically came in the room. I was able to stand up, which they were already very surprised by. And that was basically, I couldn't lift my head up. I couldn't really move my feet much side to side. But they did, because I was able to do that, they let me start taking my Sisel supplements at that time. So I think I was Siseline, Brain Vitality, Body Shield. What else was I on there? It's not super important. But the reason I was able to get to that point, to have that first physical therapy session, was pretty remarkable in its own regard. So they had told my family they were going to take CT scans, the pictures that you see there, every 12 hours after my surgery. So that first one was pre-surgery, and then they end up giving you the surgery, and every 12 hours they're going to take the pictures. They expected there to be swelling. This accident happened Friday morning, right after breakfast. They expected swelling to go from Friday morning, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and we should see it slow down on Tuesday, is what they said. Every 12 hours they're going to take the pictures. They do the initial picture on Friday. 12 hours later, they take my first post-surgery picture, and they actually saw my swelling already start to slow at that point. And then 12 hours later, they take another picture, and they already start to reverse. Where they were expecting 4 days of swelling, they saw 12 hours of swelling. And then by the 24 hours after the surgery, they actually started to see it go down. And they didn't know what to do with me. They were calling me a miracle. And this is the part I don't like talking about specifically, because I don't want to be boastful or anything like that. But it is, it was something that they didn't expect, and they didn't know really how to deal with that. So I attribute, personally, my own personal testimonial, I attribute the swelling, which they've never seen anything like it before. The only thing that I could think that would be different is my steps toward prevention. I'd taken all those steps and eaten right and water and all that. But the morning of the accident, I said this happened just after breakfast, I had my Sisel coffee, and I had the Triangle of Life, which I think we might talk about a little bit tonight. But some of the ingredients in our coffee, and one of the things in the Triangle of Life, the Procoidin, huge anti-inflammatory. So because in my opinion, because the anti-inflammatories were at work, they didn't see the swelling like they expected to. And because they didn't see the swelling like they expected to, I'm able to talk to you, I think, like this, and be pretty much normal as far as running around and playing Frisbee on the beach and stuff. So crazy. The helicopter technician, the one that gave me the paralytic twice, he actually came to my room. Like I said, I don't remember any of this, but my family was there. He actually came to my room to tell my family, or to come see me. And he talked to my family, and he said, I don't ever visit patients. But when I heard that Anthony was still alive, I had to come see him, because I didn't believe it. Sorry. So it was unbelievable from a medical perspective, from a personal perspective. They didn't know what all to do about it. So I started on a few of those supplements in the hospital. I think I was also on omegas, super omegas, I just thought of too. And I was taking, at the time, painkillers in the hospital. I was very anti, what are the super heavy ones called, brother? Yeah, they wanted me to take like Oxycontin and all that stuff. I didn't want to take it, even in my like barely brain state. I didn't want to take that stuff. But they did have me take it the first time, and my body rejected it. So I never was on the super heavy painkillers, but I was taking whatever I forget exactly what it was, but it was every 4 hours in the hospital. I was actually able to leave the hospital after 6 days. And at that point, I was taking the painkillers every 6 hours for the first 9 days. And then I had, you can't see them in here, but I had 52 staples across my head to hold the surgical wound together. So once they took out all my staples, I actually stopped taking my painkillers altogether, and I was only taking the omegas, which can help with pain. What do you think? So So I started physical therapy in the hospital. I had a few sessions. I told you about the first one, barely able to move, but they let me start taking those Sisel supplements. By the next morning, I was able to, it was a little bit better. I was able to stand up, and now I was doing some side steps. My left leg wasn't really reacting. I couldn't even really drag it. They were mostly moving that leg forward, but my right was working okay, but I kept slumping down. My head would come down. I couldn't really stand up straight. Then that was at, I think, 11 a.m., so about 24 hours after that first physical therapy session. By 3 p.m. that day, the guy actually came back to do another physical therapy session, and then I was able to go forward, go backward, go side to side. And it wasn't, perfect, pristine by any means. They were definitely holding me up and doing all that. And I wasn't really slumping. I didn't have that issue as much. So my strength was coming back, and even the physical therapist was surprised to see the change that came there. And then they came back the next morning. This would have been the fourth day after the accident. And I'd all along taken the Sisel products since they let me after that first session. I did a lap around my whole hospital wing, and I high stepped, if you know football at all. I did some high steps kind of into the hospital room because I was feeling good. I didn't know what was happening. I was just walking around, I guess. But I was able to go into my hospital room high stepping after a whole lap around the hospital wing. They said he's okay. He can leave the ICU now. That was 4 days after the accident. I was in the regular hospital for a day and a half after that, and left to go to Tom Sr.'s house 6 days later. And then you see the picture here. That's 7 days later. I was not 100% by any means. The physical therapy sessions, I had 2 more at Tom's house. Not only did he let the machines in, he let in a nurse and a physical therapist. They weren't there all the time, but they came in to see us. Nurse, physical therapist, a speech therapist. So I had a couple more physical therapy sessions at Tom's house. And I was able to really make the physical therapist, he actually asked, he was like, I don't even know what I'm doing here, because I was able to do some things that he didn't expect. Dominic would throw me a ball. I had to catch it all over the place, and I was balancing on one of those blue mat things that they'd, whatever, the athletic mat. So I was doing all this, I don't even know what I'm doing here. And I think it was 16 days after the accident, we actually headed home to California. I had 2 more physical therapy sessions in California. One of them was October 31st, actually on Halloween. And so this was 2 months after the accident now. So they let me go a whole month and a half without a physical therapy session, but they set it up. She said, I told her I ran track in college, and she said, all right, I'm being very nitpicky. She gave me a 29 out of 30 on her test. She said, I want you to come back in 1 month, so the end of November, and have 1 more physical therapy session with me. We'll see how that goes. Completely cleared me at that point. She had me running backwards and doing the crossovers running and all that stuff. So the progression was really crazy. After I had left the hospital, we ramped up the Super Omega to I was taking 9 a day at that point because I like to use it for the pain. Milo was nice enough to come and bring me Sisel Rip before it was a product, which I hugely attribute to my recovery as well. It helps a lot with muscle growth and maintaining muscle mass. Was originally tested on people that were bedridden, couldn't get out of bed for either the testing reasons or just because knee surgeries and geriatric patients. So people that couldn't get out of bed. And they actually had these people, they have a baseline, and then they have people that would be on what was to become the Sisel Rip, the formulation that we use. And they actually didn't see a decrease in muscle mass over bedridden 1 month of, people that didn't get out of bed more than just to go to the bathroom. They would see that the muscle mass would maintain itself and increase. And I actually I do a lot of rock climbing as my main exercise normally. And I started on that Rip, taking it every day after the accident, or after we got it from Milo. I think would have been around day 10 after the accident. And when I went back to the climbing gym, I expected to be pretty weak. This is 6 months later. For the first 6 weeks, I wasn't supposed to lift anything more than 5 pounds, so like a pillow. And so 6 weeks I lifted nothing up at all. And then for the first 6 months, they were like, you can do push-ups if you want, but you might hurt your head being at the angle. So I didn't even really do any of that. So I expected to be pretty weak when I made it back to the climbing gym. And I didn't see a decrease in my strength, I don't think. I definitely, climbing's very technical and a lot of stuff like that, finger strength and all that. So I wasn't the same. I wasn't exactly perfect at it, but as far as my strength went, I feel like I was just about on par with where I would have been before. After I got out of the hospital, sorry, like I said, I don't exactly know how to talk about it, so I have my notes. I started on the whole triangle of life, the AGE pill, the Sisel Rip, like I mentioned. I actually lost 15 pounds, which at the time of the accident, I weighed 145 pounds, I think. So I lost more than 10% of my body weight just from being in bed, for 4 days. So you can imagine after 30 days what they really expect. But lost 15 pounds in that amount of time. Started on the TSX as well. And pretty much everything that doesn't say for her on it, I take anyways. So that is important as well. So I guess unless anyone wants me to talk about something a little bit more, I guess the last thing that I'll say is that it's never too early to start taking steps toward prevention. No matter how old you are. I was 25 at the time of the accident, 15, 25, 65, 85. Prevention's always necessary, and it's always something that can help people. So if this helps anybody, that's all I really want to do. I still struggle to tell it. So yeah, if anyone wants me to talk about anything else, let me know.
Thank you, Anthony. I've heard your story, and I've heard that, that whole circumstance multiple times, but I never heard it to that extent. And I just can't thank you enough for sharing it with us. It's, the times I heard it before, I was very emotional, but hearing it in the depth that you presented it tonight is just, it's just so impacting. And I think it's one of the reasons why we are all just so passionate about these products, because they help people and they can save people's lives, and they're one of a kind and they're real, and there's nothing better out there. And to have a story like yours and to possibly be able to gift that story to someone else and save their life in a similar situation is just incredible. So thank you for sharing. We're now going to jump into the products and the background of the company. I'm going to pass it along to my mom, and she's gonna go a little bit into the Maurer mission and the Sisel Safe promise and what it means. She raised us as a full-time mom while earning her master's degree in education, and retired after teaching high school for 30 years. She's been a very inspiring person in my life as far as her compassion and dedication and her selflessness. And it's been a great honor to be able to share my life with her, as well as my business with her. It's been awesome. So I'm going to pass her the remote and unmute her. And thank you again, Anthony. Thank you.
Yes, thanks, Anthony, for being so bold and brave to share that story. I know that's got to be a tough thing to relive that. And it's really cool for me because I think that the exceptionalism of Sisel products really started with the Maurer mission. And it was over 30 years ago that Tom Maurer, as an industrial chemist, really first discovered, with just such shock and awe probably, of the harmful chemicals in personal care products. It started out with, his mission to kind of look at his own shampoo and to realize that garage floor cleaner and slaughterhouse degreaser ingredients were in the very same products that we were just putting on our head and going into our skin and into the pores and into our body, really, and just poisoning us. And his mission went on as he resolved that and find healthy, safe ingredients to go on to some more personal care products like wrinkle cream. And again, to discover that the ingredients themselves were so caustic that workers had to, in the processing part of it, wear such protective clothing that it would be so harmful to them to even get those ingredients on their skin. And that really, for Tom Maurer, started the whole Sisel Safe promise that his goal was to create products that we could bank on in our own homes for our own families. If somebody's in that kind of a situation that Anthony found himself in, for his family to have the confidence to say, now we're going to see these products really work. And that's where it started, was with his mission, not just for himself, but on behalf of all of us, to say, let's have some safe products. And we know in the world of advertising and marketing, it's really easy to put some great, psychologically, artistically designed label on a product that says it's organic and it's natural and it's safe. And it's easy for us to buy into that if the colors are right and the graphic design is right. But where we can bank on the Sisel safe promise is in the actual production of the products themselves. The Sisel safe products mean that there are not going to be any controversial ingredients in the products. There's not going to be any toxins, heavy metals, harsh chemicals. And we see that in the fact that Sisel is a debt-free company. They have built their own state-of-the-art manufacturing plant right here in the USA. You can tour it when times are safe to do that. But the fact that they have that quality control from the very inception of the product, the ingredients that they choose, the packaging, they even go to the extent of having the water purified for their facility. So whether it's the water that's washing the packages that the product is going into, or water that is in the products themselves, and used in that process, that even to go to that extent to purify the water. And it's not even just the packaging, just the products themselves that are safe, but the packaging, that it's going to be safe for the environment and toxin free. So it gets me, it's just such a great thing to be able to share that with others confidently. And so at this point, I would really like to pass it on to Laura Baccini. And Laura, as a mama, I just can't imagine for your heart going through something like that. And yet, what a great thing for you to have the confidence yourselves in those products. Laura has 4 kids. I love the family environment that Sisel embraces. And Laura has over 40 years, which is hard to believe, of experience and really just being a leader in this company, and really having such a depth of knowledge in the products that she is a huge resource and someone to really look up to and follow. So I am going to, at this time, hand it off to Laura, and we're going to get to hear from her wisdom.
Thank you, everybody. Can you hear me? It's still showing as muted. Can you hear me okay, Becca?
We can hear you.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody. And boy, does that, yep, you're right. It's hard to listen to that story again, Susan, but hearing it and knowing that we're in the right place and the right time with the right products, and who knew that day that, the prevention part and just being prepared. Oftentimes people wait till they get sick, or they wait till there's an ailment and then they go and fix it. So then when we talk about prevention, just doing the best you can to make sure your body's prepared should anything happen. You can't prevent an accident, but what if your body's prepared? So Triangle of Life is something that Anthony took every day, and this was our foundation product for the longest time, and in the #1 spot until AGE came along, and you'll hear a little bit more about that. But this is my favorite product. It's how I start my day and end my day, and if there's anything going on, I end up taking more of it because it really goes right in and combats different things. So Triangle of Life is like, we call it the Triangle of Life because it helps your body stay in balance. But what if you have an ailment? You take some different things first. But there's a combination that each one individually works alone, but combined synergistically, they're super powerful. So we'll give you a little bit more info on each of them. And I don't know. There I am. Fucoidan. So Fucoidan is just a Limamui seaweed. The actual real ingredient is spelled Fucoidan, and I love this product, and it's one we're super proud of. This has 22 patents, 19 pending, 4 listed on the bottle, but Tom Sr. and Tom Jr. received the Science Genius Award for this product for manufacturing and formulation. And this one, I like to say, helps everybody in some way for sure, whether from a baby to a senior adult, it doesn't matter. Helps everybody. Helps with inflammation, head to toe, inside and out, a massive anti-inflammatory, and it helps boost your immune system, and it helps all of your your cells signal and communicate with each other. So this one's about building and regeneration. So whether you have something, everything that we have happens bacterial or viral, which is linked to inflammation. What if you didn't have inflammation? What if you could take a product that could help? So Fucoiden's been something that is definitely part of my day. And I've been taking a little bit more because, I think I'm still 20 and I went bike riding and I tried to take the corner a little too quick. And I kind of have a banged up knee, but we keep taking lots of Fucoiden to keep that inflammation down. So it's been doing great. And Eternity is another great product I love. Helps with circulation and heart, but it's a high potency resveratrol. So if you go to pubmed.gov and put in Fucoiden, the proper way it's spelled, or the real way, or resveratrol, and just look at the research and studies that are done on these two ingredients alone, Fucoiden and resveratrol. That's what the Mowers do. They do researching on the research, and that's where the products are formulated and manufactured from, on research that's been proven. So this one, there's a couple things this does besides circulation and cardiovascular. It helps stimulate your sirtuin gene, which is your anti-aging gene. No one ever even knows what, some people call it the SIR2 with the number 2. But what that is at age 25, that sirtuin gene just kind of goes dormant and goes to sleep. No one can explain why. The only thing that grows after age 25 is your nose and ears, which is kind of a funny thing. But what if you could stimulate that gene to turn back on and keep doing what it was supposed to do, and to slow down that aging process, and to boost your metabolism, give you more energy. And when I say slow down the aging process, we never think about, let's slow down the aging on all of our organs, on our heart, on our liver, our kidney. How amazing is that? And helps regulate the growth of your own stem cells, helps with your capillaries, and without a doubt, I know a lot of people say that I look young, must be in the genes, and I jokingly say you should see the rest of my siblings. But it's kind of funny. It does work, and you see Anthony laughing, but it is kind of like a joke. But it does make a huge difference. So sometimes people want to see an overnight sensation, see it working immediately. But this is one of those products that works over time. Spectramax is another favorite. This one is a powerful, super antioxidant, super booster, has 40 powerful antioxidants from fruits and vegetables, which reduce your oxidative stress from free radicals and ends decay with stem cells. And what if you could, if you take an apple and cut an apple, put it on the counter, and you leave one to just sit by itself, and you pour lemon juice over the other one, and watch the two of them all day. The one that has the lemon juice just stays pure white, like you just cut it, but the other one starts to rust and rot. So guess what's happening to your cells? That's oxidative stress. So if you don't do anything for your cells, you've got oxidative stress happening. So what if you could just do just that one part, 40 antioxidants every day? And then we have 74 essential chelated trace minerals powered by organic fulvic acid, which is super important to help your cells take in the nutrients. And it helps with over 2,000 biological functions. So in just 3/4 of an ounce, we have 22 servings of fruits and vegetables. So you have a fussy child eater, an adult that doesn't eat right, or somebody who just can't seem to doesn't like the right foods. 22 servings of fruits and vegetables in 3/4 of an ounce. Super, super powerful. So synergistically combined, all three of these can make a major difference in your health and help your body be prepared for what's out there, and slow down the aging process, and also, keep the oxidative stress gone. Now this product, AGE, and we're just touching upon just a few things. On that first side, you quickly saw that we have health supplements, we have fitness line, we have coffee line, and then we have personal care and home care, which is just amazing that we have such a vast variety of products, something for everybody. And I like to tell people, sometimes it doesn't matter what product you're going to use, we have enough for everybody that all you have to do is shift your buying habits from other stores to yourself. And right now, you can't go out and shop in any stores. So how awesome is it that we have our own virtual store? It's pretty cool. So this product, AGE, stands for Anti-Glycation Extreme. And what that's doing is it's just removing glycation from your cells and helps with lipofusion. Again, this one helps your stem cells to operate at optimal levels. You think about children and they run around. You've often heard different adults say to each other, especially a mom or a dad or grandparents, say, where did they get their energy? They're just wearing me out. Well, they have ATP kicking out like crazy because they're young and they have a huge amount of stem cells. So what if you could remove the glycation on your older stem cells, because we're older, and you can, that's what that is, it's lipofusion glycation. You can remove that, then your own stem cells will start to kick out ATP, which was what you did when you were in your youth, and you have energy. So that's one of the first things people see. Lots of people see all kinds of different things. It slows down the decay and degeneration of your body and the effects of aging. So if you have got your triangle as your foundation and you add AGE, we have many more products too. We're just giving you a quick snapshot, but we have products that will actually stop and reverse the aging process and help you get rid of senescent cells. It just is endless what we have, but we just like to give you a quick snapshot of what we could do. What if we could help you in your body, for, just stay at its optimal levels. So that's what we like to share. Just little snapshots on this webinar. You can come to the webinar, but if you want to know about a lot more of the products, you can get with the person who invited you and get some of those questions answered. And I don't know why my computer is not cooperating, trying to go to the next slide, but I believe we do have Dominic coming up next. And yes, we do. So Dominic Baccini is somebody who's been in the industry for 19 years. He had a full-time 40-plus hour job as a electrician. That was after owning a restaurant together with myself. So he knew what it was like to have your own business. And then he worked as an electrician for 7 years, but he was able to replace that income and jump into Sisel and Dominic and Anthony with the beards during this stay home time frame. Live right on the beach in Oceanside, California. So Dominic Baccini.
We're stranded. I'm the castaway over here. When you're evaluating, and thank you everybody that participated tonight, Mom, thank you for the intro. I love the network marketing industry, always have. I've been in it since I was 17. I'll be 37 this month, so I'm coming up on 20 years. It's crazy how long it's been, but I love the industry. And if you're looking at Sisel from a product standpoint, I think when we talk about the Mauer mission, what you really want to think about, more about what's not in the product than what is in the product. It's very important that we're using high quality, effective, efficient ingredients. It's very important that everything's quarantined and it's checked to make sure it's not contaminated. But it's really about the ingredients that we're not using in those particular products. You can only get so toxin free, and you can only go so far in that direction. So our cleaning products, our personal care products are amazing. When we talk about our supplement line and the things that my mom just talked about, it's about the ingredient integrity policy. The Fucoidin, for instance. Yes, we researched I'm not a scientist, but they researched the research. There's over 1,500 published studies on that on PubMed.gov if you go and look at it. I don't know the exact number, but it's about what the ingredients do and the levels that they were tested to do it at. I had never heard of tested levels when it comes to the supplement industry prior to joining with Sisel. So the fact that they're using those ingredients at the levels that they were tested to be effective, to me, means that we have the best product out there. Even it's something as simple as the calcium that we use. I know since joining with Sisel and doing some research that a lot of times with calcium, all you're getting is ground up seashells. It's calcium, but it's not zero bioavailability whatsoever. So we're given high quality ingredients and we're giving them at the levels they were tested to be effective. All of that being said, that doesn't hold true for this product RIP that I'm talking about. This has published medical studies attached specifically to this blend of amino acids, 20 million in research, 30 human trials. It's incredible. It's a great product. I've been on it myself. I'm haven't been taking it as much as I would like during quarantine because I haven't been able to get to the gym. But when I was taking it every day, I weigh 175. I was able to get my bench press up to 225 5 times. So that was pretty awesome. But it's state of the art. It's unique. This is, like I said, all of this money spent on human trials. So for this particular product, these things that I would say are about the product itself and not so much the ingredients. And what it is a very specific blend of amino acids. And they know that when you take this product and you take these amino acids, you take it before you work out or you don't even work out at all, it's going to give your body the ability to repair and regenerate at over 100%. 110% if you don't work out, 130% if you take it as a pre-workout. If you take it as a post-workout, you're going to get the ability to repair and regenerate at over 200%. And if you take it post-surgery, you're going to get 800% increased measured power in that area, but you're also going to have 600 to 800% recovery in the area of the surgery. So this is an incredible product. And they did have human trials, as I think Anthony had mentioned it earlier. They had some people stay in bed for 30 days at a time. And the people that they had stay in bed for 30 days at a time, you would think that at 30 days, you might have a little bit of muscle atrophy. Well, for these people, that wasn't the case. They had a stronger, more dense muscle fiber on their body at the end of those 30 days. So that's very cool. As you can see here, the product has the power of 3 times greater anabolic response, muscle recovery, muscle growth, and protein synthesis. This is absolutely incredible product, and we do have the medical studies that go along with it, and we have exclusive rights to this formulation as far as the network marketing industry is concerned. So this is an incredible product. Each of our products, as I said, for their own individual reasons, are very incredible, and it's because of the levels of the ingredients that we're using. So from a product standpoint and from a business standpoint, I came to Sisel. I didn't have any particular ailments. I was evaluating it as a multi-level marketer, someone who wanted to build it as a business. So the product's working or really matters to me. Because if I can build one business, I can build multiple businesses. If I can do it in one location, I can do it in multiple locations. But even if Sisel was a great idea on its own, something just bigger picture that you can look at, the network marketing industry within the United States of America in 2018 generated $36 billion in sales with approximately 37 million customers. All of these sales yielded about just over $10 billion in commission to people in the field. And this industry is 75% women. There's a lot of stay-at-home moms. There's a lot of single moms. There's 25% guys, so it's not as many guys, but there's a lot of guys doing this too. It's an incredible industry that anybody can join. It doesn't matter what your background is. It doesn't matter even if you don't have that much money. Our initial kit to join our business is $25. We have optional product kits that I say they're mandatory if you really want to set yourself up for success, but it's $25 to start your own business within the ML industry that has all of these statistics that already exist. This is something that's trending in the United States, and it has been for a while, especially right now when we're in such a state of economic, I don't want to call it a recession or decline, I don't know what to call it, but we're going to experience the same symptoms as when the country has an actual recession. When your country goes into a recession, the MLM industry rebounds incredibly on the other side because people have felt this pain. They felt they felt the suppression, and going out of it, people are looking for options. And network marketing really does offer the greatest tool to wealth creation that exists. And it offers that because it's duplicatable. It offers that because it combines the aspects of owning a small business, but it combines that with having a big business. We have customer service. We have Milo's on here. We have incredible people in our corporate offices that do things for us that they get paid, but we don't have to pay them. It's an incredible business model. It really balances the scales. You start off as a small business owner, moving into having the aspects of a big business with the, ultimately setting you up with the residual income to become an investor. If you're familiar with Robert Kiyosaki's Cash Flow Quadrant book, this really is an incredible industry. And the team that we work with, my mom's got so many years of, she's looks incredible. She looks very young, but she's been in this industry for a while. She knows what she's been doing. She's helped thousands of people make so much money. So this industry is incredible. I probably should have switched the slide to the next one, but anyways, RIP is still a product, incredible product. So all of those things said, we have the products that back up the industry. We have the industry that has these statistics that work and hold through year after year. What makes it so amazing is the duplicatable process. What makes it amazing is that it's franchising without all of the costs of having a brick and mortar location. Because the products work and I'm able to establish consistent customer base that like me and trust me. If I can do this myself, then I can teach other people to do it as well. We do have a starter kit that comes in that $25 package. It walks you through a 12-step process to starting your business through the first 90 days, goal setting, and all the things that you have to do to get to be where you want to be. So, like I said, this is the greatest wealth creation tool, the multi-level marketing industry. And I honestly believe that we have the best company within that industry. So all of that being said, I'm going to kick it back to you, Becca. Thanks for the chance to share. And everybody, thank you for the contribution tonight.
Thank you, Dominic. And this event is probably one of my favorites that we've had so far. It was just totally incredible. Anthony, thank you again for sharing about your story. I'm so thankful for you and for our products, and I'm just really proud of you and so happy. I seriously love this event. I get so excited to see new people on each week. Just knowing that we're spreading the word and helping people fills me up and keeps everything going. My Wi-Fi has been a little weird, so some of the slide images weren't showing up properly, but it's not about the images, it's about the content and the information and the words of us sharing about how real everything is. That's the important part. So thank you, everybody, Mom, Laura, Dominic, for all your hard work. You guys are awesome, and it's just a treat to work with each of you. I look forward to it so much. That wraps it up for tonight. I encourage everybody here to reach out to the person that invited you to the call with any questions or interests, or leave a comment in the little chat box here on the screen with your email address, and we can get in touch. But everybody have a great night. Stay safe. I'm going to stay on for a few minutes while everybody closes out. So if I close out, then it just shuts everybody out. So that's it. Have a great night.